welcome to our first Synergy Speaker Series. We have Superintendent Quinnell here today to talk about setting and meeting expectations. So this is a topic that you've been discussing this week in your Above and Beyond class with our guidance counselor, Ed Figueroa. And so hopefully some of the things that you've talked about you can now apply after you hear from Mr. Quinnell. So he's going to talk briefly to all of you, and then we're going to open up the floor for you guys to ask specific questions related to this topic, or just in general related to getting ready for life after high school. So without further ado, here's Superintendent Quinnell.
Thank you guys for having me here. It's, for those of you who've been around me and some of you have been around me a little bit, you know this is a topic that I love to talk about, because I think this is one of the most important things we can all do as individuals if you want to find success. So when we talk about setting expectations, you know, these things divide the haves and the have-nots. And if you want to have in life, if you want to win in life, if you want to be successful in life, then you have to set expectations starting with yourself. And that's why when I saw there was a topic that Dr. Outhouse wanted me to talk about, I couldn't wait to come and talk to you about that. So I have four points I want to make today. And some of them are really easy, and some of them are a little harder. But you know, we went around and we talked about where we are, each of us are in life right now, and you guys are really at a point in life where it's decision time, and it's been decision time for you for a while, but your next decisions are really going to set up what you're going to be when you're 25, when you're 30, when you're old like me. And that's why I think I'm so glad that we're having this conversation. So expectations, when we talk about expectations, number one, we need to talk about expectations of ourselves. You know, a lot of people, they talk about in relationships, and what are the expectations of this relationship? And what they usually mean is, what can I expect from you? And those kind of things, they never work. If you look at expectations as how it applies to me, and what I can tell you that you can expect from me, then we can find success. So here's four ways I think you can set expectations for yourself that are very, very, very simple, easy ways. So we'll start with, I think, the easiest one. And the easiest expectation you can set for yourself is to be kind. And I want to start with that. So that's a kindness factor. You know, I think about you guys right now are seniors in the school, and in this school are coming in sophomores or students a lot younger than you, and they're coming here, and maybe as you look at them a little bit, you can see yourself when you first came here, and you can remember, you know, kind of trying to figure out where you were before you hit this year, and you can remember older students than you, and you can probably remember how they treated you. And this is a special opportunity when we talk about expectations, to expect kindness from yourself when you deal with these kids. Go find somebody in the school that you can lend a helping hand to, that you can give a compliment to. You know, you can say, hey, you look great today. Or, hey, I really appreciate you doing this for me. Or, you know what, stick up for somebody when things aren't going well. That's a phenomenal gift that you can give every single day. And, you know, there's times for me, I think like this, it's real easy, is to start the day and say, you know what, I'm going to pick one person today. I'm going to make sure I uplift that one person. I'm kind to that one person today. So, you know, I would love if Chris picked me every day as his guy he was going to be. But think about that person that you're giving that gift to. And when you're done, you walk away from the day in a great place. So number two for me, the other two things, this is a little more work for you, and some of your games, we kind of talked about jobs, and some of you mentioned your jobs. And it is the second real expectation to set yourself is you need to build a skill set right now. When I was your age, my family was very involved in construction, and everybody in my family is a carpenter. From right around where the age where you guys were, even a little bit earlier for me, I started to learn the trade of being a carpenter. So I would go with my father, or my brother, or my brother-in-law, and we would go to construction sites, and I always got the worst job yet. I was always the guy with the wheelbarrow picking shingles up off the ground, or digging holes for a deck when we were going to do a deck. And I can't tell you I thought that was great. I did not think that was great. It was hot. I didn't get paid a ton. But I started to build a skill set, and I built a skill set where I became a carpenter. And by the time I was a junior in college, I ended up going to college, I was a full master craftsman carpenter where I can go into a house and build a house from the concrete up, and I can do cabinets, and I can do trim, and I can do sheetrock, and I can do those things. And it's always been a skill that I've really valued having. Now, I don't do a lot of carpentry work anymore, but that skill set for me is something I always have to fall back on. I always have that skill set. So I'm certainly not recommending you guys go out and become carpenters, I'm not. But find a skill, something that you can work at, that you're good at, that you can always fall back on when you have it. So some of you guys are interested in auto mechanics, it's phenomenal. Some of you are interested in working in merchandising and sales.
Yeah, I'm a salesperson.
That's phenomenal. That's a great skill set.
I love money. That makes sales.
That's part of it. But find a thing that you can work at, be good at, and grow in. I have a good friend who started off, he worked at Stop and Shop and went in as the lowest position Stop and Shop. You know, I think what he did was, you know, like clean up on aisle 6. He was cleaning up on aisle 6. That's what he did. And he stayed with it. He stayed with it. Became a regional. He became a store manager. Became a shift manager. Became a store manager. Became a regional manager. And you want to talk about success and making some serious money? He's done it, and he's been able to do that. You see people. There's certain folks, and some of you guys know this. Kids go in, they start working at McDonald's. They're working on one of the toughest jobs there, and they work their way through that company to a position where they're very successful. They've built a skill set, and they've expected themselves to do that. So the third thing for me, and I have, those who don't know me, I have 6 kids at home.
What?
And I have 6 kids at home, so I've had 2 since I knew you last.
You have 6
You've had 2 since middle school?
We had twins.
You have 6? Oh my.
Are they identical?
They're very, very unidentical, actually. They're fraternal twins. So one is, some of you guys know this as well, this isn't part of what I want to talk about. My wife is Spanish, so one of my sons has very dark skin and looks very Spanish, and the other one has blonde hair and blue eyes. People see that and they're like, what happened? It's kind of funny. Anyway, I gave them a back to school speech the other night. Wednesday night was their first day back to school, and I talked a lot about this piece I want to talk to you guys about. And that's about, you know, I talked about being kind. This next one's about being respectful. You know, I'm looking around the room right now, and I'm seeing a group of kids who are listening, whether this is interesting or not, who are trying to hang with me, whether you feel like it or not, and who are putting me here because Dr. Outhouse asked you to get it. If you can learn how to be respectful in your life to adults, to teachers, to policemen, to your boss, you're going to find so many things go so much easier. I employ 1,300 people, so there's 1,300 employees that work underneath me. So obviously, in the day-to-day, all the time, employees are working through different situations in their life. Sometimes, obviously, you can understand employees make mistakes and do the wrong thing, and I end up meeting with them as their boss. And I can tell you, the employees who come in with the attitude of respect, and who come in with owning their mistakes, and who come in with this sense of, I'm not going to blow this off, they always end up doing better. And it happens all the time. And I look at you guys and go, you know, what an easy thing to do. When someone talks to you, look them in the eyes. When someone shakes your hand, say good to see you. When someone is behind you, hold the door open. When you're unhappy with an answer you get, instead of blowing up, which never works, say, can we talk about this? Can I talk? I don't know if you understand what I'm asking. Can we talk about it one more time? You know, these are all such simple, real things that each of us can do every day, but the thing that gets in the way is our emotions, right? You know, all of us start off respectful, and then when things go wrong, we get emotional, and our emotions drive us into disrespect, anger, blowing up, you know, reading the riot act. And, you know, very, very, very rarely in life will it ever get you where you want to go. And that concept of respect, I can't emphasize enough with you guys, and with us. If there's a life lesson you can learn walking out of Synergy, be respectful. Be respectful to yourself, be respectful to your girlfriend, to your boyfriend, to your mother, to your parents, to your boss. Even when, and this is the hardest time, they don't respect you. You know, is there any guarantee in life?
Yeah, that is hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, you know, there's no guarantees in life that people are going to respect me. You know, there's none. But what I control in this situation is how I can respect them. And I would say, if I was talking about expectations to success for you, that is such a powerful, powerful tool. If you want to get what you want in life, be respectful to others, and you'll find you'll get them. That's so important. And my last one, so number 4 here, and I'm gonna end with this one here, is have a plan. We talked about 3 real kind of like personal things, right? You know, be kind, be respectful, learn a skill. But the last one is have a plan. And this has been one that I've had from being in, probably about your age. My original plan when I was in high school, actually I was probably in the fall of my senior year. I had no interest in going to college. I went to a trade school, so you guys know like Cheney Tech or those kind of schools. I went to one of those kind of schools in the northwest corner of the state. I went to school for, as I told you before, construction. I wanted to work doing construction. That's what everyone in my family did. But I had a plan. I wanted to go in the Army. I wanted to come back. I wanted to work for my brother's business, and then I wanted to eventually own my own business and build homes. That's what I thought I was going to do. And then through conversations with my father and stuff, I said, you know what, college would be a good idea, and I got some scholarship money for being a good student. I was a good student. And they said, you know, why don't you give college a shot? So I started a new plan. My next plan was I wanted to be a civil engineer. And I had visions of myself working on bridges and, you know, helping design road projects, things like that. So I went to college for that, and I found I didn't really enjoy that kind of work. So I came back and I wrote a new plan. And the new plan for me was I wanted to be a teacher. And I wanted to be an English teacher. So I ended up becoming an English teacher at East Hartford High School. And then the plan changed again. The plan changed, I became an assistant principal at the high school. And I spent some time there, and then the plan changed again. The point I'm trying to make is have a plan. Have something you're working for. You know, right now for you or seniors, you know, this is it for you with us. You're going on, and that's really exciting for you. When it comes to May this year, and if you were really honest with yourself, for some of you that's going to be very scary, because all of a sudden you're starting to realize that all the life as you've known it as a student is kind of over, and now you're moving a little bit on your own. For some of you, that's going to be really thrilling and exciting. Maybe scary and exciting all at the same time, but have a plan where you're going to go. Have that plan now. You know, you should be talking to Ed about life after high school right now. You should be talking about what you're going to do, where you're saving for your first car. That's a plan. You know, I'm not going to blow money on this. I have a plan. You should be having a plan in your personal life. You know, the things you do, the choices you make, the parties you go to, the friends you hang around with, those are all going to have lasting impacts on you in your life. And when you have a plan, when you're driven by a plan, when you're saying, you know, here's a simple one, we throw it out there, something we can all talk about. You know, as a young man and as a young lady, you say, you know what, right now, having a child would really change my life, would really change the direction I want to go. I have a plan that at a certain point in my life, that's something I want for myself, and I'm going to wait until it's that time. That's a plan that's going to drive the next decision you make. That's important. Or some of us, we have children, like myself. My plan very much revolves right now about taking care of my children. So I have 6, so I gotta have a lot of plans. I hope no one in here has 6. But you know, that's part of our plan for our next step. Have a plan, and execute your plan. And as your plan moves, be willing to change your plan as well. You know, there's nothing wrong with I thought I wanted to do this, and now I'm going to do this. You know, life takes a twist on you sometimes, and makes you adjust your plan, and that's okay as well. So, big year for you guys, senior year, setting expectations to yourself, and I know I've kind of wandered away from that theme a little bit. Setting expectations for yourself, what can you expect from you every single day, is such an important thing. And if you can set those expectations, I think around those 4 things, if they ring a bell with you, being kind to others, you know, being respectful to adults, learning a skill. This is a great time to take advantage of all the programs here at Synergy. The culinary program, you have the Nun-Tug program, you have the print shop here program, the 3D printer. These are all skills you're learning. And then the 4th one, build this into your own plan. I think you're going to have a great year of success. But you know, I'm excited about you guys here. Synergy is doing some great things, and you know, it's doing great things certainly because of Dr. Alhouse's leadership and the staff that's here. And this is a staff that we've really shaped over the past few years, and we're excited about. But it's also, to be very honest, it's only doing good things because of the kids that are here. You know, and you guys are shaping this school. And it doesn't feel like it for you. You're just Chris, and I'm just here at school today, and that's fine. But really, you're shaping the story of Synergy, because people don't define this school really by the principal or by the teachers anyway. They define it by the kids who go to school here. And you know, that's why for me, you guys are so important where we're going. So I wish you guys all good luck for a good school year, and appreciate you letting me know. Questions, comments? Any thoughts? One of my expectations myself is I'm always going to give 100% to what I do. So if it's my marriage, I'm going to give 100% to my marriage. If it's my children, they're going to get 100%. If it's here, East Hartford gets 100%. So there's never a time where I look back on anything I've done and I say, I should have tried harder. You know, now I failed in all three of those areas. I failed with my marriage, I failed with my children, and I certainly failed here. But I've never looked back and said, I should have tried harder. You know, so that for me is, you know, that whole thing of like sleep easy on the pillow, you can go to sleep at night and say, I gave everything I had. You know what I'm talking about? So that's like a personal expectation for me. You guys ever think about that? One thing you define yourself like, you ever think about that? No, what do you had to, though. You and I have talked a million times, so you have had it. Is there anything you can say this is what you can expect from me?
Like of myself?
Yeah.
I don't want to be like a bum in the future with hella kids and not doing anything with my life. Like I want to have a job, a career.
So if I'm going to rephrase
college, diploma.
You better not know kids will be a phone.
I'm just going to rephrase that.
That's not a nice life. Have kids and don't have nothing, don't have no money for them.
Yep. Because I don't want to be that.
So for you,
I want to live
expectations
comfortably,
success.
happy with a career I'm happy with, make money.
Yeah. So those are really big things right up there, right? We're talking about life success, career success, family success, happiness success. So, you know, I mean, those are big things. There's no one in the world, Melody, who doesn't want the same thing as you. You know, and I don't know if you guys have done this. There's times where I was just in Boston. I was at a conference in Boston, and I stayed at a really nice hotel right in the center of Boston, and it was at Harvard, actually. It's right downtown the city. And every day when I'd walk to the college, I'd walk down the street, and there was a group of street people there panhandling, looking for money. And, you know, I mean, I look at those people, my heart breaks, to be honest, because I think about how hard a life that is. It's just a tough, tough life. But then I think back in my mind, I said, you know, I'm sure they wanted to be just as successful as me. I'm sure they thought about this.
They probably didn't have the guidance, somebody that guided them through.
Sometimes I think maybe they had these things that they wanted, but then they didn't take the small steps to get them. You know, there's a lot of people say, I want to be successful, I want to make a lot of money,
And they don't do it, right?
but they don't want to study tonight for homework. So part of saying I want a success here is a small piece of saying, okay, if I want life success, then you know what, getting B's this year, or getting C's this year, whatever your line is, it's just not going to work. I have to get B's and A's on my transcript right now. I know that's what it is. So I love to say that. Anybody else?
There's people in the room who've had major attendance issues over the years, and so you know, how do you set reasonable expectations? Because tomorrow, if I'm a student who's only been in school 50% of the time, and next year I say I'm going to be in school every day, is that reasonable? So how do we find a reasonable
Just try to get up each and every
target?
day. Take a step at a time. Step by step.
Motivate yourself.
Yeah, to wake up early and stuff. Is to be in school on time.
Like to be motivated to graduate, like get the first and stuff like that. Because I don't want to just like waste my time. If I'm getting free education, I feel like, oh, why not? Rather waste my time.
Right. Dr. Osprey, I'm good on attendance. You know, so your colleagues at this school, your friends at this school, attendance is a challenge at this school. We all can agree to that? So, you know, think about that. If I walked around this school right now and I talked about who wants to be successful, do you think everyone would say,
yeah,
me? I do. Right. So then the next thing I said, okay, is if being successful is about setting the expectation of being here every day, what do you think would happen then?
Everybody here will go down.
Why?
Hands would probably go down a little bit. But that's a simple thing. You know, I can tell you, so for me, again, I employ a lot of people. The number one thing I don't like in staff is when they're not here. All right, that's number one. I have a serious problem with staff who have attendance issues. So when it comes to termination, when it comes to getting rid of staff, which is a very, very big deal, that's something that weighs heavily. Are they here? Do they have good attendance? And think about this, for adults, you know, you guys, it's a little different. You know, you don't come to school, we call you, we beg you to come to school, we send a teacher out to the house to get you. You think in the working world, what do they do in the working world when you don't show up?
Fired.
Fired.
They call you first and then.
They call you first, they sit you down, They give you a warning.
Or they write you up.
They write you up. They do those kind of things. So it's such an easy thing to get into now. How about an expectation of honesty? Anybody ever have that in mind? Yeah. Simple thing, like when you know you deal with me, what I say to your face is what I'm going to say behind you as well. You know, that's something I think about a lot when I deal with employees, when I deal with political groups that I work with. I say, you know what you get from me is what you're going to get when you turn around too. There's never going to be a surprise for you. You know, and that's sometimes for me hard, because sometimes that means I have to have a really tough conversation to your face. But to me, it's a lot easier to do that now than do it later. How about loyalty? Anybody ever think about that as an expectation?
Yeah.
What is loyalty?
I feel like if you have to ask for loyalty, that's like there's no loyalty there. Like you shouldn't have to ask for loyalty. They should have to give it to you off the bat.
Well, what about your loyalty though? What does loyalty from you mean?
A lot. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you do. You're explaining it. I thought you.
I don't want like.
I get what you said. You know, loyalty means that you know, with your friends, to be a loyal friend, it means that you're not going to turn on them when times get bad.
You always have their back.
You're going to have their back. It means that you're also to really be loyal to someone. You're going to be tell them when they're wrong. You know, your friends are wrong. You're going to say, hey, you're wrong. I love you to death, man, but you're wrong. That's loyalty. You know?
And so the last thing I want to say is hit on a point that Mr. Quinnell made at the end about one of the big reasons we're doing what we're doing with this speaker series, and in general, a lot of our initiatives this year at Synergy. It is about handing the ball to the students. You have the teachers, you have all the support staff who's doing everything they can. You have a guidance counselor. There's nobody else in the state, probably the country, working as hard as this guy in terms of doing guidance counselor things, in terms of doing teaching and working with you so you're college and career ready. So that's a huge task. And for us to keep up at this pace, it's not sustainable. But all of you in the room, what you did yesterday under the leadership of Mr. Burnell, you talked about how to make this school better, how to take a little bulletin board and present it in a way that when people walk by it, things jump out. You talked about how can we come up with some plans so that students who are attending at a greater rate, who are doing well academically, behaviorally, career readiness, they can have some incentives that are meaningful. I'm so excited to have continue that conversation for the group who met with Mr. Burnell yesterday, and even some of the others who weren't part of that, because that's going to take the school to a place it's never been, all of you. And we see this every graduation. June 16th, you saw our graduates get up there and talk about their experiences at Synergy. How at one point they thought they weren't going to graduate. It was over. They were done. They were going to be someone who they felt they never wanted to be. But they found a way to flip that switch. They overcame the great obstacles, and they're proud. And now they're accomplishing great things. That's everyone in the room. You guys have that opportunity. But it's about the expectations that you set now, what you're going to settle for. I have people in the room who haven't been in school 3 straight days in 3 years, who've been in school for 3 straight days. We got to keep that up. Next Monday, you're going to sit down in your above and beyond class with Mr. Figueroa, with Ms. Riley, with other support staff, and you're going to set an attendance goal. You're going to set an academic goal. You're going to be able to look at your current grades in your classes. You're going to set a career readiness goal aligned to that inventory. You're going to set a behavioral goal. Why we're asking you to do all those things, as Mr. Quinnell said, you always have to have a plan. And it doesn't have to be a plan that stays the same. It changes, and that's okay. What isn't okay, though, is you not to be able to go to bed each night saying, I worked hard, or I'm moving 1 step closer to my goals. There are days you'll be 10 steps closer. But if you're making 1 step a day, that's all you can ask for. And some of us are in situations that if we make 1 step, and then that's been a pretty good day. So I thank you for your attentiveness, and more importantly, I thank you for what you've done this week. We need to carry this over to next week, next month, into the second half of this year. We do this, our jobs become much easier, and you're on to bigger and better things.
And I think the other thing, just on top of that, is what Dr. Arch says really on it. You know, think about this for yourself. You know, and you're setting goals, expectations, those things. You know, make them simple for yourself. You know, say, hey, you know what? I'm missing no more than 4 school days this year. You know, you missed 10 last year. You say, I'm cutting that thing in half. I'm missing no more than 4 days, whatever it is. Let's keep it shorter than that. You know, and then those days where you wake up, you don't feel like going to school. I mean, If you waited till you feel like doing it, guess who would do it? If we all waited till we felt like working hard, guess who would work hard? Nobody. I didn't feel like getting up this morning. You know, I was tired. You know, I think I had a little sniffle this morning. Get to school. Come to school. We need you here because I want to be successful. And so do you. But you're here. So it's kind of like talking to kids about being in school, who were in school, kind of is like preaching to the choir a little bit, right?
Let's give Mr. Cornell a quick round of applause.